And a steer is a castrated bull, right?
Correct.
So how old are they when they castrate them?
We'll usually do it pretty young, like maybe 3 months old. Yeah.
And the whole idea with that is if they grow up like that, then their meat is more tender, then they get bigger.
Their hormones just go a completely different direction. And you can tell, like in a pasture, my dad could tell just even a 6-month-old, just he'll come down the chute, he'll look at his head, and he'd be like, we got a heifer, got a bull. But like when they're older, like a year or two, you can tell out in the pasture, like that's not a steer, that's a bull. Like the way they grow is much different. They're like a bull is going to be more lean. A steer is going to have more fat to them. And heifers will be that way too. They're not as good to eat as like a steer. Like if you're getting a prime steak somewhere, it's probably a steer.
How come?
Again, like those hormones, like they're so like a steer is going to be more muscular than a heifer. Like he just doesn't have the focus of like reproduction that she does.
Right.
And now he doesn't have any focus of reproduction now that you castrated him. And so like he's all about, his only deal is he's going to grow and sleep. He's going to eat and sleep. And so you grow them and eat them to this perfect point in the feedlot. They'll start on a cow-calf. There's 3 phases. When they're born, it's called cow-calf. And that's the more sexy part of cowboying and ranching is like you see them out in the pasture. And then that middle phase is the stalker phase. And that's where like a yearling, you'll wean them at like 600 pounds and almost a year. Then you'll send them to wheat pasture and they'll be there for, they'll gain however much weight, maybe get to like 900, and then they'll go to the feedlot till maybe 1,200 pounds. So that's the 3rd phase is the feedlot, and they'll get finished out, and then they'll get slaughtered.
Have you ever eaten an old bull?
Yeah. So I had an old bull get crippled, and I was like, well, let's just try it. Like I got some ribeyes. Now that I'm on carnivore, like I need the meat,
Right.
And I had this old bull get crippled. And sometimes when they get real bad crippled, you don't want to take them to the sale barn, so we'll just process them. And it is so much tougher. It's so much tougher. Like they wouldn't even sell it at the grocery store. Like a 10-year-old bull, if you get that ribeye, it's just not good.
Did you try different ways of cooking it? Did you try because I would think that would be that it would
there's
be
probably
similar.
some ways you could doctor it up. And when I say it's not good, I'm talking like compared to a prime 1 steak.
Right. But is it more like wild game? Like what is it?
Yeah,
like?
it's going to be harder to chew through. Like an old bull. It's just going to be harder to.
Even the tenderloins.
Even the tenderloin. Now those are going to be better than like your sirloins, but they're still not going to be. There will be a noticeable difference between like that and a little over a year old steer that got processed at 12.
Because I've always felt that steaks are kind of unnaturally tender anyway. It's kind of weird that when you see the difference between like eating an elk steak and eating like a beef steak. It's like you're used to like if you eat an elk steak, you're used to chewing through it. Like,
right.
That's what meat is supposed to be like dense fibers and
if you like the round steaks of an elk, then that would be similar to like a ribeye maybe of an old bull, bovine bull.
Because I know there's a place in Vegas that we eat at all the time. It's called Bazaar Meats, and one of the things that they have on the menu is old cows. Like he likes the different flavor that you get from an older cow, and so it's like they have that as an option. I've tried it; it's really good.
I was about to say, I'm sure those guys, as good as they are, like I just got like this griddle, I throw it on, and you know what I mean.
Right.
And so
old school.
I'll sear it. Maybe sometimes if it's real thick, I'll throw it in the oven. But they probably got all kinds of tips and tricks that they could make a 9-year-old bull taste good.
Well, they do it slowly over hardwood. So what they do is they have a fire and one of those Argentine grills, that cranks and lowers and raises it, a Grillworks grill. And so they'll have it up on high and it's getting just barely touched by the flames and a lot of smoke, and they'll slowly bring it up to temperature then, and then they drop it down and sear it at the end. And
it sounds amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
When I'm at my house, I like to cook them all the same way. That way I can kind of judge them the same way. You know what I mean? Like, this is my process. This is how I cooked it. If it takes, you know what I mean? Then I'll know. But if I got to do all that extra stuff, and it's 3 meals a day, so like sometimes I'm just trying to have lunch, and I just need to
I need to do it quick.
Eat and go.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.